So now let's take a look at what his farewell message was. The arrival of these ministers at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa signaled the start of high-level dealings ahead of Saturday's Head of State Summit. Dubbed the Executive Council, this gathering of foreign affairs ministers meets at a pivotal time in the African Union's history, a time of transition. Moussa Faki winding up his time at the helm of the AU Commission and making his way for new leadership.
Vous dire au revoir.
I would like to say goodbye to you with my throat choked and full of nostalgia. 15th March, I will have ended my term and I will not stay one day more.
Et c'est à cet instant ma plus agréable consolation.
But before he can ride off into the sunset, Faki must first oversee the election of a new leadership, with the Executive Council charged with electing 6 commissioners for agriculture, economic development, education, infrastructure and energy, political affairs, peace and security, and health. Then comes the showdown between Kenya's Raila Odinga, Djibouti's Mahmoud Ali Youssouf, and Madagascar's Richard Randriamandrato, when the heads of state meet on Saturday.
Kwa wakati huu, mataifa 49 yamedhibitisha kwamba yako hapa na tumepata quorum.
I invite you all to please ensure that the elections are held with a spirit of African cooperation and brotherhood.
Whomever succeeds him, Faki warned that the celebration will be short-lived given the challenges that plague the African Union, including the conflict in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Sudan.
I continue to believe that if we do not grasp the issues of our political architecture, peace and security, and governance, question of partnership, the financing of our organization, and the powers of the Commission and its chairperson, it will be a source of concern for the future of our organization. That is the main message I wish to convey to our next leadership, to which I wish full success.
Sur l'avenir de notre organisation.
All right, Seth Olale has been following proceedings today live from the AU headquarters in Addis Ababa. He joins me now. Seth, apart from the election, of course, which is, I should not use that terminology, Jeff Koinange, but which is the biggest talking point, there were other big issues, including the situation in the DRC. We've had the conflict reignite just days after the EAC SADC met and over essentially doing away with the ceasefire that was called for. So aside from the DRC, I also saw there was a question of the Palestinian situation. What did you hear?
Exactly, Olive. And you know, the situation in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, just to mention North Kivu, will be part also of the agenda, and specifically among the matters arising as far as the heads of states summit is concerned. And talking about the situation in DRC, the Executive Council of the African Union, which is also made up of the forum that includes the foreign affairs ministers here of the continent, did say that they are worried about what they are seeing and observing in Eastern DRC, and they hope that the resolution made by the joint regional sections, we're talking about the East Africa Community and of course the South Africa Development Community SADC, will actually, that particular resolution will be adopted by the heads of states when they meet here for the summit on Friday and Saturday. but the outgoing chairperson of the Africa Union Commission, Moussa Faki, saying passionately that there ought to have been ceasefire by now, and that the Commission is really concerned about, the escalation of violence, in as much as SADC and the East Africa community met earlier on to discuss about a possible both short-term and long-term solution to ending the conflict in Eastern DRC. But that was not just the discussion, Olive. They also talked about the situation in Palestine, and they said that they appreciate what they are seeing right now, what they are observing. Remember that the Africa Union is part of the global observers that have been monitoring the situation in the Middle East. So when the ongoing ceasefire is still being upheld, and especially by both the Israeli government and Hamas, at least they say that there is now hope in terms of humanitarian aid in the Gaza Strip, on the Gaza Strip, but they want a lasting solution in the Palestine. But also to watch out tomorrow, in the second day of the interministerial executive meeting of the Africa Union, will be the announcement of the new commissioners of the Africa Union Commission, who will work with the incoming chairperson and deputy chairperson that will be elected on Saturday during the vote for the AUC chairperson and that of the deputy. So the 6 members who will form part of the Africa Union Commission will be announced tomorrow on the final day of the Inter-Executive Council meeting of the Africa Union.